everybody. I'm Marcos.
And I'm Kirsten.
And this is the Minnesota Real Estate Investing Podcast.
Join us every week as we discuss real estate investing in the land of 10,000 lakes.
Welcome everyone. Happy New Year. We're back here in Season 2, 2023 of our podcast. We're happy to be talking about this subject. We're really excited. The best strategy to invest in real estate, according to us at least. I don't know.
And others.
And others, yeah. And it's something that we're definitely implementing in 2023. I think everyone should look at numbers this way. Just because, at least right now, in January, we're in the first week in January of 2023, and we don't know really where this market is gonna end up. If it's gonna be, bouncing back, which I highly doubt. If it's gonna be a complete buyer's market but stabilized. If it's gonna be another 2008 crash. Yeah. So.
Only time will tell.
Yeah. I mean, depending on what you're doing with investing, you're hoping for one thing or another. So.
Yeah. So what is the best strategy in real estate, Marcos?
That's a great question. We think is BRRRR.
Mm-hmm.
BRRRR.
BRRRR.
I'm gonna put it down here. Don't worry.
B with 4 R's.
Yes.
So what does BRRRR stand for?
BRRRR, it stands for buy, renovate or rehab, rent. Am I forgetting one?
No. Refinance, repeat.
Refinance, repeat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always forget about repeat because it's like, wait, it's not something that I'm actually doing.
Yeah.
But
that is the whole point of it, is to keep that money, keep it going. You only have to save money once with the BRRRR method.
Mm-hmm.
You save it once and you keep that money. It's the smartest strategy.
It's the most effective one too.
Yeah, efficient, effective. It's the best strategy in real estate.
Yeah. And of course, right now it's becoming more challenging to do that because of the market. As I was saying before, it's challenging to get the property at the price that you need to get it at to have those margins to be able to rehab and refinance. I mean, sellers are expecting still probably high prices. Contractors, they have to count for inflation and, materials. And then when you go to lenders, you're going to have to account for their higher interest rates. You're going to have to account for new guidelines. So it's not the easiest strategy, but it's still the best. So
it's definitely the hardest strategy.
Definitely.
I would say it's the hardest strategy. That is because it's the best strategy, because you have to get the best deal to be able to do the BRRRR method.
It all depends on your criteria for investing. Of course, the BRRRR method is... The BRRRR method goes towards rentals. And you can BRRRR a single family, you can BRRRR a duplex, triplex, fourplex. You can BRRRR a commercial building, a 30-unit building if you want. But it all depends on how much cash flow, cap rate, or return on investment, maybe even cash-on-cash return you're expecting. Of course, that cash-on-cash return in the BRRRR method, it's going to be great because the idea is to have it all back when you refinance, So it's looking at the cash on cash return with the BRRRR method is not the best way. The most important part is the return on investment, I think.
The ROI.
ROI is the key indicator on that. And cash flow is important too, of course. It depends on your goals. We talked about goals in our last podcast for 2022. And that's something that's super personal to each investor or each investment group or team that you're
I think with this strategy, you could accept lower cash flow because
Definitely.
of the fact that you are getting that money back and able to reuse it and invest in more higher volume of properties so you can, expand your portfolio faster and get more cash flow quicker.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So let's go with the first part of the BRRRR method, which is buying. We kind of covered that a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of a few tips, make sure that you're buying. It has to be a great deal. Of course, we're saying 50% of ARV. ARV meaning after repair value. It is for people that are just tuning in and don't know much about investing. That is the value of the house after you do everything that you have planned to do to it. So that value is going to determine how much the lenders are going to lend you. So it's very, very important that you know the most accurate ARV when you're buying. The other part of the buying process is making sure that your rehab costs are as accurate as they can be. Always leave a little bit of room for maybe compliance with the code of the city you're investing in. You open up a wall and suddenly you found a huge problem, whatever that problem is. I would advise from that rehab cost, at least plan to have a wiggle room of 10%. So if you're calculating, let's make it easy with round numbers. If you're calculating $100,000 in rehab, plan for 110. That's always my advice. Maybe even 120. And then with the ARV, you have to make sure that you're accounting for potential changes in the market. Right now, the way we are doing it is account for, depending on the area, 5 to 10% lower on the ARV than what we're seeing comps selling at. Even comps that are being sold just a month ago. Because if it happens to be a slow market and not many houses are selling, or, basically, if the prices drop, what are you going to do if you don't meet that loan to value? You're going to have part of your money tied into that property. Hopefully not a lot, but the strategy tries to take all the money that you put in out of that property so you can put it in the next one. So that's why you have to be super careful with that part.
Yeah. So do you think, we were talking about this the other day because we were actually reading David Green's book, BRRRR Investing. And he suggests buying properties cash, which for Marcos and I, that, in this market in Minnesota, we would say that's not really a great strategy because then you're going to be buying things like in the middle of nowhere because who can save up? It's going to take you years to save up $300,000,
Yeah.
So how do we BRRRR with a finance, with a loan?
Yeah. It's even harder.
Yeah.
Because then you have to account for things like the rate that you're getting on the first loan. So right now, hard money lenders that are the lenders that are gonna benefit you if you can't buy cash with your actual cash. You don't have $300,000 laying around to invest or $500,000 or whatever that money is. Cashing is king right now. People want fast closings, and people don't want to bother with a lender unless they have an offer that's higher and they know it kind of pays. It all depends. Cash is king. Hard money is just as good as cash. So the problem is that hard money now has anywhere from 12 to 15% interest rate, plus the origination fees that you have, like points that they're gonna charge you just for lend you the money, the appraisal, and all that stuff. If you can, waive some, account for some. However, that is something that you're gonna have to calculate when you're refinancing too. So you're gonna have to have at least, I would say, if it's your first one, a hard money lender is going to require 20% down, and then for you to cover 20%, the first 20% of the rehab as far as money goes. There are ways around it. Talk to us. We know ways around it, and there are several different ways that you can do that without actual money. But again, that's another story. So that money now, it became, instead of cash and have it a cost of 0, it became 10 to 15%. So when you refinance and when you're running numbers, put that into account. Another option, if you don't have cash, if you own properties already or one property, even if it's your home, you can take a HELOC. Mm-hmm. That's something that we're doing actually. Mm-hmm. Okay, so those are the possibilities you have. There are more like possibilities depending on how much cash you have available. Something that you have to keep in mind is that if you don't have cash available to you, whether it's your own savings or from a private lender, like private lender, I'm referring to a person, an individual that's giving you money that maybe they have in a self-directed IRA. And they're making 4% in the IRA, but they're gonna take out, let's say, $50,000 to you because you're giving them 8% instead. Again, calculate that into your numbers to make sure that you are at least breaking even, or you're comfortable with the end result when you refinance. That's the buying process. Where to find all these deals, how to find them, you have to, as we always say, we have actually a podcast, how to find deals and all. I can't remember the exact name now, but I think it was our second episode. You can, I'm going to put it in the description below. How to find deals, you have to network with agents, you have to network with agents being realtors, you have to network with wholesalers, do your own campaigns too, knock on doors of properties that you see that maybe are run down. There are several different systems that you can use and that we as agents have available to find you those deals. Don't be scared or turned off by something that's on the market. That's something that I can't stop saying. Like, the deals are everywhere, even on the MLS. Mm-hmm. We found our best deals on the MLS, believe it or not. It is just a matter of finding the motivated seller and for them to accept the offer that you need them to accept in order for you to invest. That's it. Whether it comes from a wholesaler, from the MLS, off market, or you were door knocking, or your neighbor, it doesn't matter. As long as the numbers satisfy your criteria, that's all it matters when you're buying. Mm-hmm. So the next point is rehab or renovations. That part, we touched a little bit about it. Mm-hmm. When you're buying, it's a good idea to have in mind your budget. And the more experience you have with projects, the more you're going to be able to estimate or kind of eyeball rehab costs, depending on what you see. Recommendation is to have have your contractor or subcontractors available. You can send them videos or bring them to the property. I wouldn't waste their time though. Time is money for most of us that are self-employed, and You can have them at properties that you don't have under contract, but that's not going to be good for your reputation. I would put a property under contract first, use the inspection period to have them over, make sure that what you thought the budget would be is going to be, talk to them about payment, and when you start the project, you have to be sure that things are done in a timely manner, because especially if you have holding costs, because you, instead of buying cash, you had to buy with a loan, whether it was hard money, commercial, renovation, construction, whatever that type of loan is, you're going to have holding costs. And every day it passes means money out of your pocket.
Mm-hmm. I have something to add. I think it sort of goes into the buying too, but the type of, in rehab, because of the type of projects you're going to be finding, the best projects that are going to give you the opportunity are ones where you are adding finished square footage, bedrooms and bathrooms. So those are going to be bigger projects and more expensive because it's usually going to be an unfinished basement. We're going to have to add in plumbing and framing and, everything like that. So,
well, not only that, also the properties that you can get under market value right now are the properties that are going to require the most work just because of the shape the property is in.
Yeah, that, and then plus it should probably have a lot of unfinished square footage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, potential to add bedrooms and bathrooms in square footage.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only way nowadays in this market. That's the only way you're going to get properties at the right price.
Yeah. If you're looking for very light rehab, welcome to the club. We all are.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be for someone that, can do the work themselves and can work with really thin margins.
That's another option. Do the work yourself. I mean, that's the best option. If you have time, if you don't have kids and you're single, or you're in a couple and you guys want to take on a DIY project, do it yourself. That's the best way right now in this market to make money. Mm-hmm. But it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. I mean, we've done up until we, when was it? Yeah, I think our duplex was the last project that we actually. No.
No, we did it on our single family home.
Yeah, we did it on our single. Yeah, what was it? 2021.
Mm-hmm. And after that, I said, no more.
Yeah.
We'll see about that.
I mean, we've done sheetrock, mud, tape, toilets, all type of plumbing. We've done. Electrical.
Well, my dad has done all the plumbing, electrical, HVAC.
Well, yeah, with me helping and learning, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pay someone to do all that stuff. Electrical, it's not that bad actually. I wouldn't mind doing it. The problem with electrical is that if you are in a city that requires permits to be pulled by an electrician to rent out, even though it's gonna be cheaper for you to do it, you're either gonna have a friend that's gonna say, yeah, I'm okay with putting my license on the line for my good friend. Because they're going to have to come and check that you did the work right and everything. Because, cities require plumbing and electrical, and most also HVAC to be done by a licensed contractor with permits when you're renting. So, again, some cities are less strict than others. It depends on where you're investing. So when you're renovating, make sure that you're accounting for those things to be done by a subcontractor, electrician, plumbers, and HVAC people. Besides, you make sure that it's safe for the future tenants and for your investment too. The worst thing that can happen to your investment is that you have a fire. Yeah, more rehab costs. What? Why? No.
So after renovate is rent. So, that's another thing you're going to have to be checking running your numbers is what is the potential rent.
Yes.
And that's also very important. So you can estimate your cash flow. So.
And that also, the rent that you can get mixed with the end loan when you refinance. That's why, it's kind of like they're getting kind of each letter in the BRRRR process, each step kind of evolves into the next one. When you're buying, you already have to be thinking about all these things. But it's important that you have a good deal. When you're rehabbing, you have to think about the area that you are, how much you're going to get in rent, and how other rentals look. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's all connected. You can't, but you have to go step by step and think about each step separately too. For example, if you're in an area where rents are low and you see the comps and the difference between a house having hardwood floors and granite countertops it doesn't justify to add that in the rehab. Just do laminate and LVP.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're probably not going to put real hardwood floors in any rental, let's be honest. Well, unless it's like a really luxury rental. Well,
and to that too, like we find that with hardwood floors, they're either original, mm-hmm. And if they're original and they need work, sometimes it's actually cheaper to just put LVP and better for rentals.
Yeah.
They're waterproof. They sustain pets, the pet wear and tear. Mm-hmm. They're durable.
Yeah, they last a long time. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so we rented it Yay!
Well, and talking about renting it out, you not only you have to, right? Yeah, yay! But then, what comes with that? Are you going to manage it yourself? Mm-hmm. What type of numbers go into the renting out? Are you going to get the tenant yourself? For example, we being part of VSM, VSM has leasing and management, which we are part of VSM, and we still use the services that we offer to other people too, because we don't want to do absolutely everything ourselves. And that's the strategy, to remove yourself and make this into passive income. The way to do it is to not manage it yourself, unless you want to. I mean,
next week we're going to have a podcast with Ryan
mm-hmm.
on property management, so make sure you come back if you are interested in that.
Yeah.
Okay, so after we rent it out, we're almost done. We are at the finish line.
Finish line.
We refinance.
How we refinance. What to look for and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that you need to be thinking about also when you're buying it. Of course, depending on how long the project's gonna be, it could be, something that lasts 1, 2, 3 months. Could be something that's major renovations and it lasts 6 months. Especially when you have to get tenants
mm-hmm.
in the season. In Minnesota, getting tenants, the best season is just like selling houses, spring. Nobody wants to move with snow on the ground. Nobody wants to move during the holidays. Are there people that move? Yes. Is it likely that you're going to rent it out during that time? No. Your chances are much lower. So keep that in mind, so you can make sure that when you're refinancing is once your asset is performing. Now, when you're buying, you're running numbers. One of the numbers you're running is talking already to the lender that's going to allow you to refinance. Most commercial lenders are looking for you to have to give you 75% loan to value. What does that mean? Is that they want you to have 25% equity in that house after they give you that loan, which means that if you spend, let's say you buy the house for $200,000 you put 100,000 into it and all the numbers work, the ARV is 400,000. That's a great deal. You are super safe. You have 300,000 into the property. Of course, we're not counting all their fees, but let's make math simple for the example. You have $100,000 in equity, which is 25% of the ARV, and the lender is happy. You have enough equity that if something happens, you can still sell and they get all their money back. You have enough equity that you could get somebody to lend you an extra 15 on a HELOC. And probably your cost of the loan is also much lower. That's the other goal too. How do you make your cost lower? You either have more equity, you leave more equity in the property, or you have lower interest rates. Right now, interest rates are super high. So, leaving equity, it depends on what you want to do. It depends on how much money you need for your next project. Mm-hmm. But taking a look at the lender, at the terms too. I'm talking about commercial right now because it's the type of lender that is gonna be more willing to lend you money for an income producing property. Most of those lenders are gonna require, for you to have, they're gonna give you 75% loan to value. They're gonna give you a fixed rate for hopefully 5 years, amortized usually in 20, well, it varies depending on the lender. But the amortization too has an impact into your monthly payments. It has an impact on your return on investment. So you have to take a look at the terms very closely and shop around. I mean, we have really good lenders that we can recommend you.
Yeah. But you can do this with conventional. You could do it with hard money if the numbers work. I mean,
well, hard
they probably
money,
won't, though.
No. Hard money is short term.
Yeah, but you could get a hard money loan for a year.
Yeah. And if it works, there are other things, depending on what you're renting too. Now, let's say that, because we're talking about long-term rentals, which numbers always have to work with long-term tenants in there. But you could do short-term rental or mid-term rental. Mm-hmm. That being Airbnb, BRRRR. You can target to traveling nurses.
Yeah, there's many strategies, but always make the numbers work for a short-term rental or for a long-term rental, mm-hmm. because that's your exit strategy. But yeah. So after we refinance, yay, we're financed. Then you're like, okay, let's do it over again.
Mm-hmm. You start the process. That's the repeat part.
Yeah, hopefully you cash out all that money. So when you refinance, you do either cash out refinance, or I suppose you could pull a HELOC, which is not as good as a cash out refinance.
It depends on what type of terms you have. If you bought the property cash and you put all the rehab cash, you're gonna want to do a cash out, mm-hmm. for sure. Even if you did a loan, depending on what type of loan you used, if you used a commercial loan that's already amortized in 5 years, then maybe you want to leave that loan and do the HELOC. Maybe what you want to do is put a conventional loan because you did a commercial loan and you bought it like that. It just depends on, it varies depending on what you're doing on each specific situation and what your possibilities are. Mm-hmm. If you have enough cash available, you're going to do, to do the whole thing, you're going to do cash out. You're going to do a HELOC. That's why we love real estate. There's not one answer to everything. I mean, the one answer is BRRRR.
Yeah, I would, the best way is to cash out. So you can take that cash and put it in your next property.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, you made money on it and you even have more.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that I would like to say in respect to the whole process, something that you can do when you're taking on this kind of projects, is have maybe a different LLC or some sort of role. And before I continue, talk to your lender, talk to your accountant, talk to your attorney to make sure that everything is done legally with this. You can pay yourself in each step. You can pay yourself as an acquisitions manager. You can pay yourself as a project manager. You can pay yourself as a, I don't know, handyman. You can pay yourself as, now you have to put certain businesses in place and make sure that, you know, there's several entities that are charging for tax purposes. Again, talk to your people, talk to your advisors on tax, on legal issues, and how to set up the whole business part of it and what the lender is going to allow to. Because there are ways, depending on how good the margins in that property are, that you can pay yourself at each step. If you can do that and you're BRRRRing and you're acquiring properties, you're doing it.
Love it. Love it. Let's do it. No, we've been looking. It's just very hard.
Yeah.
To find those gems of properties.
Mm-hmm.
Gets you down sometimes. Kind of like, are we ever going to find something? I mean, I'm really curious to see if there's... I've been kind of looking on Facebook and trying to get my feelers out there if there are other people in our market here in Minnesota who are BRRRRing right now. And like, I would love to see their numbers and what they're buying the property at, and just who's doing that right now. And if you're doing that, or if you've done that, like, comment below or message us on Instagram or Facebook, because I'd love to have a conversation with you. Just because this is going to be hard in this market. I don't know, what's going to happen in 2023, and maybe if prices keep going down, we can find better deals, but then the ARVs also go down. So, I don't know. My little rule of thumb, and I always say this, if, like, this is by no means, like, a good metric probably for everybody. But for us, like, if we can get it 200,000 below the ARV, then most of the time the numbers are going to work really well. Yeah,
especially in the areas where we're investing, we kind of know already an approximate ARV without even looking at the property. So it all comes with experience. Right now, even for flippers, like, I would advise every single person to take a look at the BRRRR method, because if you're working with really slim numbers as a flipper, that right now, I'm not saying that it's going to be a bad investment. You could have a great flip with thin numbers, but
it would be more like a wholesale then, probably.
I mean, it's going to be risky. It all depends on, how quick the snow melts and what the buyer sentiment, and several different factors, But you have spring and summer, and sometimes summer is even slow too, to really dispose all your properties.
So it's going to be time to start looking, is what you're saying. Like, seriously. Yes. Yeah. Get things under contract now so that you can start the rehab and then get them rented out by spring.
Yeah. Depending on how long it takes. March, April, May.
I would say you can rent in the fall, like September, October, November. It's in December and January when it starts getting hard to rent.
Yeah, I would say...
those are the 2 months that are sort of, you're in the red.
Yeah.
But if you can also afford to hold your property, then I would wait until February, March, April, put it on the market for a rental. And
it all comes down to the market, to the numbers.
Yeah.
If you're calculating the vacancy into your numbers, then you're good. You have to go by the numbers. I can't express that enough. Doesn't matter where the deal comes from, how much it costs, what the rehab is, and where is it. If all the numbers line up for you to have a good investment, that fits what you're looking for in your goals, do it. Go ahead, buy that property right now. Call us. We'll put it on the contract for you. We'll help you run numbers.
So that was BRRRRing, the BRRRR method made simple. Probably in less than 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We've been talking for a while now, but...
I think probably by the end of editing, this could be under 30-ish minutes. But, as in real estate, there are a lot of nuances and everything. So if you have any questions, comments, whatever, just message us on Instagram or Facebook or email us. You can find our email on Facebook, Instagram, and on our website.
On our website. We have a part on our website where you can contact us too.
Yeah. Or comment below. Subscribe to our channel.
Give us a call.
Yeah, give us a call. We love talking to other investors and people who want to invest. So we hope to hear from you.
Well, I hope you guys had a good time. Keep warm. It seems that it's getting warmer because I see snow melting out the window right now, which I'm happy about. Snow melting. This means that I don't have to shovel again. Have a good start of the year, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it and that you at least found some good information in this podcast. Bye.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it and took some valuable information out of it. If you want to reach out to us with comments or questions, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and our website, milagrohomesre.com.